Hello there YouTube land, and welcome back to the Small Workshop Adventures. This is another in the series of woodworking and wellbeing, and I thought I would talk just honestly about mental health and the construction industry, and I use that in its broadest sense because lots of us are in our workshops doing construction-y type things. We might not actually work full-time in the construction industry, but we still do things around building and all of those things. Equally important, the actual construction, people who work full-time in the construction industry, and the importance of raising awareness around mental health. In the interests of integrity, honesty around my channel and the things I share, coming from a place of reality, I guess, I thought I need to share, because I talk a fair amount on this channel about the importance of talking and sharing about mental health. And I'm going to talk about it in the construction industry in its broadest terms, as well as specifically to that. But I'm somebody that struggles with mental health. I have a history, quite a long history, of living with mental illness, and it's due to lots of things that have happened. I would say lots, something that happened to me a long time ago, but the consequences of that still ripple out into the future, don't they? And at this time, I'm actually not maybe in the best place emotionally. I'm struggling with my mood, and I'm having to really work hard, you know, a bit that image of the swan on top. And you know what, when I think about mental health and well-being, you know, what does it look like? What does it look like? Does anyone actually know what it looks like? Well, mental health and mental illness looks like a million smiles. It looks like a billion faces. It's like, you can't always tell, can you? There's not a look, oh, there's someone that is struggling. There's someone that's not actually good at the moment. And I think it's important to understand that it is the whole of the human race. As many as we have different faces and the way we are, that is human well-being and mental health. A 2020 study, so really recent, said that 83 discovered, or they did in the study, 83% of construction workers have experienced mental health, have mental health issue, have experienced it in some form. And there's also an enormously increased risk of suicide within the industry. And that means that someone, you know, is struggling, both maybe has in the past, or is at the moment, or is it you? And that increase in, and that's a massive statistic, isn't it? And that increase of risk. And when we think about this working with construction, making things, what are the risks? Well, they're physical injuries, aren't they? That's what we mitigate against, don't we? Or we try to, within risk. When we're building things, we're making things. But are we mitigating? Are we protecting ourselves against the unseen, the invisible risk that might be greater than all of those things? You can't put a bit of tape up, can you, and say, do not cross. Or you can't put some safety goggles on. I'm just getting my ear protectors. We can't get some ear protectors to protect us. There's nothing that we can get that protects us from that emotional storm that comes in life, and particularly around the job. And yet it could be the most important thing we should be protecting each other from, looking out for. We're looking out for our colleagues around safety, because we don't want people to get hurt. We don't want people to get harmed. And yet, are we looking out for our colleagues, for our friends, for their well-being, for their safety that is actually, unless we talk about it, it's unseen? Suicide is 5 times greater in this industry, 5 times than any other industry. Wow, 5 times. And one of maybe the biggest factors in that is that 89% of people who work within, say, the broadest sense, the construction industry, are men. So let's just think about that. 89% are men, and yet there is a 5 times greater risk. Why is that? And I would suggest that it's because as men, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to open up. There's still this, we want to hold this persona, this macho image. I'm going to keep smiling. I'm going to keep the mask on. But inside, I'm not in a good way. And I'm not being able to, or I don't feel I can, or people would just, there's an enormous stigma, there's embarrassment around it. And yet it's so important that we create an environment where people, where men in particular, 89%, can actually be in a safe space. And it's about how we create brave spaces, safe spaces. I'm using those interchangeably, a brave space and a safe space. We're all about safe spaces when we're working, but are we creating brave spaces where we are able to share how we feel, what's really going on, the real safety, which might actually enable me to stay working or to stay doing what I do, rather than not, and creating an environment subconsciously, a very machoistic, strong. What are we doing in that? So what can you do to help? What can I do to help? Well, we can speak out. But how do we speak out? By raising awareness. Maybe you can share this video. I'd really appreciate if you share this video and put it out to various different places. The importance of talking about mental health, particularly men. It is about increasing awareness, because the more we increase awareness, the more people have an understanding that maybe they could talk to somebody, maybe they could share. And I'm sharing from a place of, I'm struggling a bit at the moment. I'm just having to really work, and I'm talking to the people around me. I'm talking to my wife. I'm letting my children know, because I'm not embarrassed to have well-being issues, because it's part of the human existence that we have issues, both good and bad and indifferent, around well-being. And there is no human being on the planet that is immune from that. And mental illness is totally indiscriminate. I think I'm saying that right. About it can be, we're just changing in this country our monarch. So our king, we've gone from a queen to a king, and it's incredibly sad that we've just lost our queen. God bless our queen, and God save the king. But from kings to everybody, and everybody in society, we have mental health. So here I am banging on about it again in my workshop, in my little small workshop. And am I making a difference? I don't know if I'm making a difference. But you know what? If I don't speak, then I really know I'm not making a difference. But if I just speak and share, and you guys perhaps on the back of this share this, then who knows? Who knows what lives can be saved and what change can be made? And after all, change happens in society when we speak out, when we share that change needs to happen. And I would suggest on the back of this, that particularly in the construction industry, that change needs to happen, that we need to be able to more freely be able to talk as men, particularly around our well-being and mental health issues. My name's Mark. I'm here at the Small Workshop Adventures, and this has been another woodworking and wellbeing video. So please like and subscribe if you're part of this channel. But more importantly than that, please share. Please share the message that I keep going on about every so often, and that I'm really passionate about, and that is men's mental health. So from me, Mark, at the Small Workshop Adventures, take care, everybody. Bye.